Okay, so we're diving into some seriously heavy stuff today.
Yeah.
Grandparent scams.
Mhm.
And honestly, this one's going to hit close to home for a lot of people, I think.
Absolutely.
Exploiting love and worry for family.
Right.
That's just low.
It is. And it's really alarming how widespread this is.
Yeah.
The FBI estimates that these scams rake in millions of dollars annually,
Wow.
preying on the very people we're supposed to protect.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
So how do they actually pull it off? I mean, it seems like
No.
it'd be pretty obvious.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
You see, they exploit a cognitive bias called the availability heuristic.
Okay.
In a nutshell, when our brains are flooded with emotion, panic, fear, that urge to protect,
Right.
we tend to grab onto whatever information is right in front of us,
Okay.
even if it's not the most logical.
Makes sense.
That's how these urgent pleas for help
Yeah.
can bypass our usual skepticism.
That's fascinating and terrifying at the same time.
It is. Well,
It's like they're hacking our emotional response.
exactly. And these scammers, they're like con artists
Okay.
with a script,
Right.
a carefully crafted playbook designed to trigger
Yeah.
those exact emotions.
So walk me through it.
Okay?
What's step one in this playbook of theirs?
Okay, picture this. It's late at night.
Okay.
You get a call,
Uh-huh.
and on the other end is a shaky voice
Okay.
claiming to be your grandchild. They're in trouble.
Okay.
Maybe a car accident
Oh, God.
or some legal mess.
Okay, my heart's already racing just thinking about it.
Yep.
Anyone with a grandkid
Yeah.
or even a niece or nephew is going to be on edge immediately.
And that's exactly the reaction they're counting on.
Right.
The grandchild will then plead for bail money,
Uh-huh.
legal fees,
Okay.
some urgent expense that needs to be handled right now.
But wouldn't most people, I mean, in a real emergency,
Right?
try to contact other family members first?
Yeah.
Right. Parents, maybe? Why do you think this whole isolation tactic works so well?
That's where the script gets even more manipulative.
Okay.
They'll often weave in a story about why they can't contact anyone else.
Okay.
Maybe their parents are out of reach,
Okay.
or it would just make things worse.
Right.
The scammer might even say, please, Grandma, don't tell Mom and Dad I'll be in so much trouble.
Wow. That's just plain dirty, hitting those emotional pressure points.
It is.
So at this point, the victim is probably frantic, thinking
Yeah.
they're the only one who can help.
Right.
Yeah.
And with those emotions running high, the scammer swoops in for the ask. Money.
Okay.
And not just any money.
Uh-huh.
They'll insist on methods that are hard to trace and impossible to reverse.
So they're not asking for a Venmo.
Definitely not.
Okay.
We're talking wire transfers,
Okay.
prepaid debit cards, even those gift cards you buy for like iTunes or Google Play.
Gift cards. Seriously.
Sadly, yes. It might seem bizarre,
Yeah.
but they're readily available,
Right.
untraceable.
Okay.
And once that code on the back is given,
Yeah.
the money's gone.
This is all making me realize how important it is to know what to watch out for.
Right.
What those red flags are.
You got it.
Yeah.
Awareness is
Right.
our best defense.
Okay.
For example, that unsolicited call out of the blue.
Right.
No one in a real emergency thinks,
Right.
let me call Grandma first.
Yeah. Okay. So unexpected call.
Yeah.
Already a little suspicious.
Right.
What else should we be looking for?
Remember that sense of urgency they create?
Yeah.
That pressure to send money immediately?
Mhm.
Legitimate authorities, even family,
Right.
would give you time to
Oh,
think,
my God.
to check things out.
Okay. So if they're rushing you,
Mm.
that's a bad sign.
It is. Makes sense.
little grip.
What else? Remember how they plead for secrecy?
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell anyone, Grandma.
Right.
That's another huge red flag.
Right.
They're trying to isolate you,
Yeah.
to prevent you from verifying their story with someone who might know the truth.
It's scary how they use your concern against you,
It is.
turning those protective instincts into a weapon.
Yeah. And it's not just about urgency and secrecy.
Okay.
There are also red flags hidden in the way they talk about the situation.
So like what they're actually saying might give them away.
Exactly.
Right.
For example, they might be vague about details.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask specific questions that a real grandchild would know, like, what was the name of our first dog?
Oh, that's a good one.
They'll fumble or give a generic answer.
Yeah, it's like a secret family code word.
Absolutely.
And this is probably a good place to point out that
Yeah.
if they can't give you that secret code,
Right.
you know it's not really them.
Exactly.
Right.
Many families do use code words for this exact reason.
That's a great idea.
It's like a secret handshake that only genuine family members would know.
I love that.
But let's say despite all of this, someone does send money.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. What's the next step?
Right, because as much as we're talking prevention,
Yeah.
this is happening to people.
Of course.
And they need to know what to do.
Absolutely.
It's a horrible feeling to think about.
It is.
But knowing what to do next is crucial.
Right.
So let's say the money's already been sent.
Okay.
Where do you even begin to untangle this mess?
First, take a deep breath.
Okay.
It's a scary situation,
Yeah.
but acting quickly can make a difference.
Okay.
The very first call should be to your bank or financial institution.
Okay, so immediate action is key.
Yes.
But what if the money was sent via gift card
Right.
or something that's not easily traceable?
Yeah.
Is there any hope of getting it back?
Honestly, it's tough.
Yeah.
With those untraceable methods, the chances of recovery are slim,
Okay.
but reporting it to your bank is still crucial.
Okay.
They might have procedures in place,
Uh-huh.
and it helps them track these patterns of fraud.
So it's not just about getting your money back.
Right.
It's about helping prevent this from happening to others.
Exactly.
Okay.
And while you're on the phone with your bank,
Mm-hmm.
ask about placing fraud alerts on your accounts
Okay.
and even freezing your credit with the major credit bureaus.
Hold on.
Yeah.
For someone who isn't deep in the financial world,
Right.
what exactly are fraud alerts and credit bureaus?
Yeah.
And how do they help in this situation?
Good question.
Yeah.
Think of credit bureaus like giant libraries holding your financial history.
Okay.
When you place a fraud alert, you're basically putting a big warning flag on your file.
Okay.
It tells anyone trying to open new credit in your name to proceed with extreme caution.
So it's like a security system for your identity.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense.
And freezing your credit is even more extreme.
Okay.
It's like putting a lock on your credit file.
Okay.
Preventing anyone, even yourself,
Wow.
from opening new accounts until you lift the freeze.
Okay, so these are definitely steps to take if you think your financial information has been compromised.
Absolutely.
But what about the emotional side of things?
Right.
Having to tell family members about what happened,
Yeah.
that must be incredibly difficult.
It is, and I won't sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
Those conversations are hard,
Right.
but they're absolutely necessary.
Okay.
First, for support.
Uh-huh.
Having loved ones rally around you makes a huge difference.
Yeah, of course.
But also because they can help you piece together what happened, verify details,
Right.
maybe even offer insights you hadn't considered.
It's like that old saying, 2 heads are better than one.
Exactly.
Especially when trying to untangle a messy situation like this.
And who knows, maybe someone in your family has had a similar experience or knows someone who has.
Yeah, it's true.
Sharing these stories helps us learn from each other
Mhm.
and build up that collective awareness.
That's a great point.
Yeah,
It's like building a community defense against these scammers.
exactly.
Yeah.
The more we talk about these scams, the more we expose their tactics,
Right.
the less power they have.
Okay, so we've talked about what to do after the fact,
Right.
but let's rewind a bit.
Okay.
What can people do proactively to avoid becoming a victim in the first place?
That's where knowledge becomes our superpower.
Okay.
Remember that availability heuristic we talked about?
Uh-huh.
Understanding how your brain works under pressure is the first step.
So basically knowing that you're vulnerable to these emotional manipulations is actually a form of protection.
Right.
Okay.
And then there's the power of questioning.
Okay.
Even if the caller sounds distressed,
Mm-hmm.
don't be afraid to gently push back,
Okay.
to ask specific questions only a true family member would know.
This reminds me of a story I heard about a woman who got one of these calls.
Oh, yeah.
She was so shaken,
Wow.
but then she remembered her grandson had a very distinct way of saying grandma, almost like guama.
Shoot.
She asked the caller to say it,
Oh, wow.
and of course he couldn't replicate it.
Right.
Right there, she knew it was a scam.
That's a perfect example.
Yeah.
Those little details, those quirks of personality,
Right.
can be your saving grace.
And let's not forget those unusual payment methods.
Right.
I'm thinking if someone's asking for money via gift card or wire transfer, that should be an automatic red flag no matter who they are.
You nailed it.
Yeah.
Legitimate organizations, family members, they just don't operate that way.
Right.
And if your gut is screaming, something's off,
Yeah.
listen to it.
Right.
Hang up the phone.
Okay.
Call your grandchild directly using a number you know is real.
Okay. I'm feeling empowered already.
Okay.
But let's be realistic.
Yeah.
These scammers are good.
They are.
They're constantly evolving their tactics.
Right.
What are they doing to stay ahead of the game? It's almost like we need to be one step ahead of them all the time,
It's true.
which can be exhausting.
It is. They are getting increasingly sophisticated.
Yeah.
They're using technology to mimic voices,
Wow.
creating incredibly believable scenarios,
Oh, gosh.
and even researching their victims online
Okay.
to tailor their approach.
So they might actually know personal details
Yeah.
about you or your family, which
Right.
makes it even more convincing.
Exactly.
Right.
They might mention a real vacation you took or a recent family event they saw on social media, making their story seem all the more plausible.
That's chilling.
It is.
It feels like we're in a constant arms race against these scammers.
Oh, in a way we are.
Yeah.
But remember, knowledge is power.
Right.
The more we understand their methods, the better we can anticipate their moves.
So how do we stay ahead of the curve?
Right.
What are some next-level strategies for protecting ourselves and our loved ones, especially those who might be more vulnerable?
One of the best things you can do is to stay involved in their lives.
Okay.
If you're regularly talking to your grandparents or elderly parents, you're more likely to notice any unusual changes in their behavior or financial habits that might signal a problem.
So those regular check-ins aren't just about catching up.
Right.
They're actually a form of protection.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And if you notice something that seems off,
Yeah.
don't hesitate to ask questions.
Okay.
A little probing can go a long way
Right.
in uncovering a potential scam.
I think a lot of people are afraid to bring it up,
Yeah.
worried about offending their loved ones
Right.
or seeming like they're interfering.
Right.
But really, it's about showing that you care.
Exactly. It's about having those open, honest conversations, making sure they know that you're there for them,
Right.
that they can trust you.
And for our listener, if you are caring for an elderly loved one, maybe consider working with their bank to set up some safeguards.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Many banks offer options like spending limits on accounts, alerts for unusual activity, or even a trusted contact who can be notified
Right.
if there are any red flags.
It's almost like building a safety net around them.
And it can make a world of difference.
Yeah.
Remember, these scammers are counting on isolation and secrecy.
Right.
When we break down those barriers, we take away their power.
This deep dive has been intense.
It has.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But I feel like we've gone from feeling vulnerable to feeling empowered.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
We've demystified the tactics, exposed the red flags, and most importantly, we've emphasized that no one has to face this alone.
So to our listener, here's the takeaway.
Okay.
Stay informed, stay vigilant, stay connected, and most importantly, trust your gut.
Yeah.
If something feels wrong,
Right.
it probably is.
And remember, there are resources out there.
Yes.
If you or someone you know needs help, reach out to organizations like the Federal Trade Commission or AARP.
Great resources.
They have a wealth of information and support available.
This has been a powerful reminder
It has.
that knowledge is our best defense.
Absolutely.
By sharing this information, talking to our loved ones, and staying aware, we can make a real difference in the fight against these scams.
We can